You guys know that cinnamon roll place at the mall, the one that has those epic, huge cinnamon rolls? You know the one I'm talking about. Well, I'm telling you, they have nothing on us because today I'm gonna show you how to make an epic cinnamon roll that is so big, you gotta eat it by the slice. I'm not the first gal to make a giant cinnamon roll, nor will I be the last. However, today I'd like to make a giant cinnamon roll with layers, literally. Let's get this recipe poppin'. So with this recipe, we have it in the description below. We're gonna start things off with this canned cinnamon roll dough. And what we're gonna do is actually unwind the dough to create long strip that we're gonna wind around one cinnamon roll in the center. This recipe is super great because you're using already made cinnamon roll dough. You could totally use homemade if you wanted to. This makes it really simple and easy, perfect for like a holiday morning that you're putting together for your friends and family. So once we have all of our dough rolled out, I'm gonna look for the prettiest looking cinnamon roll to be in the center. That is gonna be our star of our giant cinnamon roll. And I'm getting ready to put these into a 10-inch springform cake pan. You can get those pans on Amazon, you could get them at your local baking store, but the reason why we're using springform pans is because they're really easy to release on the sides to get the giant cinnamon roll out. It's gonna make your life a lot easier. And obviously, if you have a bigger springform pan, you could totally do that. I mean, this is an epic cinnamon roll. The bigger, the better. So you could use that, but for this recipe, we use 2 rolls of dough. If you use a bigger pan, you would want to get some more dough, extra dough to fill that out. Because we're doing layers, I already have one made here. So you can see what we've done. We have that really pretty cinnamon roll in the center, and then we have our dough spread around it in like a giant concentric circle. So I'm gonna wrap it around our cinnamon roll right here in the middle. And you wanna lightly press the dough into the roll. You don't have to smush it, but you wanna make sure all the dough is touching so that when it bakes up into one beautiful, glorious giant cinnamon roll. So there we go. We got one layer done, and we're gonna keep on going. And oh, also tip, as the dough gets warm, like it's getting warm kind of sitting out like this, it gets a little harder to unpeel. So if you get to where you really can't pull it apart anymore, just pop those guys back in the fridge for like 10 minutes, and then you'll be able to unwind them again. I will tell you, being pregnant, I have never craved cinnamon rolls more in my life. My husband Jake can tell you that when I first was pregnant, I was sick as a dog. I was so nauseous. Nothing appealed to me but cinnamon rolls. I was literally on the set of a shoot that I was food styling, texting him like, I must have cinnamon rolls at the end of this day or I will die. He went out and got me some, and he got like the little mini ones, and I ate so many of them. It's a bit embarrassing because I could probably eat this entire first layer of the cinnamon roll. Could have really used this double layer cinnamon roll at the time. If only I'd thought of that then. So every Christmas, our family has a tradition. My mom is a very Southern lady, and she loves to make breakfast casserole. So if it was a very special Christmas, we would have these pre-made cinnamon rolls that all came together like in a pan. But the thing about these rolls was I lived in a family with 3 children, and I had one brother that loved cinnamon rolls. And if you didn't get one piping out of the oven, he would eat literally the entire tray. I'm not kidding. He loves them. So for Christmas morning, we would be fighting over who got them because it was a special treat. Normally we didn't do like sweeter things on Christmas morning. We did more casseroles. This is gonna be one epic cinnamon roll. One more roll to go, you guys. Rollin', rollin', rollin'. Keep the rolls a-rollin'. Cinnamon rolls. Beautiful. So I've got this all filled in. Our giant cinnamon rolls are ready to go in the oven. I'm gonna put these in at 350 degrees for at least 30 minutes or until they're cooked through and nice and golden brown on the top. While our giant, beautiful cinnamon rolls are baking, we have our icing ready to go. So we can put that on once they're out of the oven and a little bit cool. I made homemade cream cheese frosting here. It's a special occasion, it's a holiday, you can make your own. This is just cream cheese, butter, powdered sugar, and vanilla. And y'all, the recipe will be in the description below. But you can also use the icing that comes with your cinnamon rolls if you like that, or if you have a family recipe that you love, you can totally make that. So feel free to plug in whatever cream cheese frosting that you like with your epic cinnamon rolls. And then also we're gonna make a fruit filling for our cinnamon roll stack. I chose raspberries here, but you could use whatever fruit you like. And what we're gonna do is kind of make like a loose raspberry, almost jam-like filling. So you're gonna add about a teaspoon of sugar to your fruit, and then we're gonna stir this together. And while the cinnamon rolls are baking, the fruit is gonna start to release its juices. It's gonna become, just get this beautiful raspberry syrupy liquid happening. It's really tasty. So you just stir these together with the sugar, and you just let it sit. You can also kind of lightly mash your berries if you like once they've sat out for a bit. to make it a little bit more like a raspberry kind of jam. Whatever you like. Perfect. So this is good. We're gonna let it rest for a bit while we bake our cinnamon rolls, and then we will build our stack. Okay, so we have our cinnamon rolls baked and out of the oven. They are pretty hot, which is actually where you want them to be. You really only let them cool for a few minutes because you want the icing to melt as you're putting the icing on the first layer. And also, when we add our raspberry filling, if they're warm, it kind of like sinks into the nooks and crannies, and it's really, really tasty. So I went ahead and popped our springform pans just to release some of the heat, and I'm gonna take the edges off so they're gonna be easier to move. Amazing. Okay, so those are ready to go, and I'm going to mash together our raspberries and sugar that we've been letting sit out just to make it so that we have some pretty like smushed bits and seeds. Ooh, raspberry on the loose. See how soft this is? It's like releasing its juices. This is right where we want it to be. So I'm gonna leave some of these raspberries whole, but the majority of it I kind of want to smush just to get those pretty seeds. And I also saved some raspberries to put on top, some fresh raspberries, which will look really pretty. Okay, perfect. That's ready. Our icing's ready. We are ready to transfer our rolls to our beautiful cake stand. So I'm gonna start with looking and seeing which one is the prettiest of the two rolls to have on top. And I think I like this one better, so I'm gonna put this one on bottom. I love it. That looks great. So I'm gonna put about half of our icing on this bottom layer. It's gonna melt and get all ooey gooey and delicious, just like how you put icing on the top of a normal cinnamon roll. And I really like seeing it on the edges too as it melts. It's gonna be a really pretty presentation for people to see like the icing kind of running down the sides. I love that. So if you even wanna ice it from the outside in, just so you get some of those runny edges. Yes, ma'am. That looks amazing. I'm gonna smoosh. Just gonna smoosh some icing on the edges. Okay, perfect. That looks great. And now I'm gonna do about half of our raspberry filling in the center. And I actually did the same thing with the raspberries. I kind of put some on the edges first, just so when you see this visually, you can see the edges. So it's like when you're presenting it, you see the raspberries, you see the icing, you know what you're about to bite into. Kind of combines with that melted icing. It's all ooey gooey and delish. Perfect. So we have our bottom layer done, and we are gonna stack our second one on top. Look at this ginormous layered cinnamon roll. Yes. Come on with that. Like a pregnant woman's dream. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing on top with this icing, but I'm actually gonna drizzle it because I love the look of drizzled icing on a baked good, and you just get that hit of icing and then that raspberry in the center. Oh my word. So drizzle around the edges first. And if you have icing left over, serve it on the side. Let people dip their cinnamon roll wedge in it. I feel like you can never get enough icing. And remember, because the cinnamon roll is warm, the icing's gonna melt. So leave some space for it to melt into the roll when you're drizzling the top. So that looks great. I love the little swirl in the center. I'm gonna add some of our raspberry mixture on top. And then I'm also gonna add some fresh raspberries. This is so pretty and perfect for a holiday get together. I love it. All right, so this looks beautiful. And I cannot wait to celebrate the holiday with my family and friends with this epic cinnamon roll stack. So good. I want to see how you style your epic cinnamon roll stack. Tag @PopKitchen on Instagram and comment below. I want to know what you want to see me style next. Happy holidays, y'all.